Hello, and thank you for watching this ag forecast for the Corn Belt. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, we've had a big cold front cut across the region over the last 24 to 36 hours. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s across much of the central U.S. right now. The warm spot actually off to the north, the Dakotas, some areas in the 50s and low 60s this morning. A brief warm up in that region as another shot of cold air is on the way. Now, as we look at the satellite picture, you can see the front right now making its way across the eastern third of the country, the cloud cover associated with that. We'll flip it over and look at the radar, and there are some showers making their way along and ahead of that front as well from the southeast all the way exiting eastern Ohio, now moving into portions of Pennsylvania and New York. And then riding underneath the cold upper-level low temperatures, we've got some very light showers making their way out of the Dakotas into western Minnesota this morning as well. Now, as we look at the last 72 hours of precipitation, we did bring some moisture into parts of the central and eastern Corn Belt along with that frontal boundary. Generally an inch or less to be found here across the region, but a couple pockets, parts of southeast Iowa, northeast Missouri, and then down in the Ozarks, a couple locations getting more than an inch. But then at the same time, parts of east central Illinois right through central Indiana and off into northern Ohio, parts of southeastern Michigan being almost entirely missed by the precipitation this weekend and early this week as well. Yesterday, just a couple hundredths of an inch, maybe a couple tenths in some of these locations. So not everybody getting the drink here. And as we look at the forecast for the next 7 days, it's going to be another dry stretch across the Corn Belt. Favorable harvest weather for a lot of you. Now as you head back toward the Great Lakes into the eastern Corn Belt, cooler temps and the tendency to maybe get some persistent light precipitation underneath that upper level low could kind of hamper things. But generally looking at a very dry next 5 to 7 days, and looking at conditions being pretty favorable for keeping the machinery out in the field. And again, a lot of this is being driven by this upper level pattern that we're going to be kind of stuck and bunched up in for at least the better part of the next 5 to 10 days, if not a little bit further into the month of October. Now, it's one that features this big trough in the Aleutian Islands. We've got a ridge across the west coast of the Pacific Northwest into British Columbia, and then this big trough dug out here across the Great Lakes into the eastern Corn Belt. So what that does here for us in the midsection of the country, that's going to be sending us reinforcing shots of cool and dry air. And then, of course, the trajectory for our air mass is out of the northwest or out of the north, and so we are not tapping into the Gulf of Mexico, at least for the next, again, 5 to 10 days, if not a little bit deeper into the month of October. So cool, dry air coming out of Canada, that's the theme as we head through the end of September and the beginning of October, wrapping up harvest across the country. As we look at our temperature forecast, again, I'm just playing the daily temperature anomaly forecast here, and you can just see it kind of reloading, bringing in these shots of cooler air. We're going to get another one here as we get into Wednesday that's really going to drop those temperatures across the region as we head into the weekend. Again, cool air, also dry air. We're looking at the precipitable water plot. I show this for a myriad of different reasons throughout the season, and right now it is just to illustrate the flow across the country, across the lower 48, is from northwest to southeast across the region, the upper level flow, bringing our air masses out of the Canadian prairie. So again, cool, dry conditions, a pattern that's not going to be supportive of significant precipitation. Now what you can see is the next system that we're watching here at the end of this loop as we get into the weekend. Here's our midweek shot, a reinforcing shot of cool, dry air coming in here as we get into Wednesday. And then as we start to get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's another wave coming out of the northwest. And we're going to pull just a little bit of moisture here out of the Gulf. Right there, you see a little plume come out. As we get into, this is right in the Sunday, Monday time frame. We could bring some light precipitation then into parts of the eastern Corn Belt. Now, along with some of these systems, we're going to see breezy conditions. So generally dry over the next week, but windy at times, especially across the central plains. As we head into tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at the wind gusts forecast anywhere from 20 to 30 knots out of the northwest. Again, bringing in that cool, dry air. This is that reinforcing shot that arrives on Wednesday. Winds begin to subside again on Thursday, but we could see those ramping up again with our next storm system as we head into the weekend. So just to tie it all together, then looking at the precipitation forecast from the European model, here is all the rain activity along with that cold front now moving out of the Corn Belt and into the northeast as we head through the day today. So over the next 4 to 5 days, really the only place we're going to be getting some moisture is across the Great Lakes, where we could get just a little bit squeezed out here underneath those cold upper level low temperatures. And I'm talking about from northern Minnesota into Wisconsin, parts of Michigan, the Great Lakes here, just midweek, the tendency to get some of these cool, dreary showers. Maybe a little bit of that making its way into the eastern Corn Belt on Thursday. I'm sketchy on believing this with the dry air mass in place, but the potential for a light shower for a couple people here across the eastern Corn Belt as we get into the day on Thursday. This is not going to soak all of the fields or lay a reinforcing shot of moisture over them. Just, again, a hit or miss opportunity for a shower. That's it, though, as we head through the week. We're going to have to wait till this next system kind of dives out of the prairie and then starts to curve back off to the northeast, tapping into the Gulf just ever so slightly as we head through Saturday night and then really into Sunday and Monday, bringing that chance for some rain to the eastern Corn Belt and the Ohio River Valley. So as we look at total precipitation, I'm going to hit play and just let the accumulated map kind of unfold. We'll pause it as we get to Friday, right here before that next wave starts to dig out of the northern plains. So between now and Friday, this is what you've got. Dry conditions from the Dakotas down to Kansas over to the Mississippi River. As you head into the Great Lakes, parts of northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, at times getting some light showers. Maybe northern Illinois, northern Indiana tapping into a light shower or two on Thursday, it looks like. But generally dry conditions continuing in the eastern Corn Belt as well. Really, I'll kind of carve out this region right there that I think favorable harvest conditions are going to continue through this quarter, at least as we dry out from the moisture that we got yesterday. Let me take it back. I forgot I was not quite done with that loop. Let me show you what happens then. Currently, forecast with the operational run as this weekend system comes in here. We get into Friday. This is now Saturday. Starting to see some of that moisture. Again, light precipitation across the high plains. It gets a little bit heavier then. The opportunity for an inch or so right now across maybe a small corridor from the Ozarks into the eastern Corn Belt. We'll have to watch this one, though. This is way out there, 6 to 7 days. So just pointing it out at this point that it's going to be dry until we get to that point. So here are your high temperatures then over the next few days. They're going to be cool across the midsection of the country. You get that brief warm up across the high plains, the northern plains today, but look at that, high temperatures resetting into the 40s and 50s as we finish the rest of the week. Your highs on Friday really started to cool down across the Great Lakes and the eastern Corn Belt. So again, maybe dry at times, getting some of those light showers though across the north. But then even down here where maybe we're not getting the rain, it's going to be awfully chilly as we head through the end of the week. High temperatures still in the 50s as we get into the weekend.